hit go live on the final. And now we are good. So, anybody watching, what's up? I have with me Noel Kennedy, who is joining us today in what we're going to call the Branded Agent Professor series. And you're our first Branded Agent Pro or Professor. And this all stemmed from just a simple Facebook post. I mean, anybody watching, this isn't formal. This isn't like we spent a bunch of time doing some webinar slides and everything. They were informal and it's meant to be that way. It started from just a comment, many comments on a Facebook post that was made, and I said, what's one thing that you're an expert at and that you could teach? And so several of you commented on what you think is something you're an expert at, and so thankfully, shout out to the group and the willingness to share. Many have agreed to come on over the next several weeks and share that one thing that they're an expert at. And so, the thing is that most people are probably an expert in a few things. We were just talking about some of the things, Noel, that you're an expert in, and it's not just business and marketing planning that we're going to talk about today, but you're doing some cool things with automation and chatbot sequences and stuff. And so we'll probably do another call to talk about that. But anybody who's watching, you can put your comments, here in the post, and we'll see them, and we'll answer any questions that anybody has. But Noel, welcome, and I guess let everybody know kind of where you're from and what business you have going and all that good stuff.
Sure. Again, my name is Noel, and I am from New Jersey. I happen to be on the Jersey Shore. My husband and I are a domestic team, and Jim is our closer, our front guy, and I am in charge of lead generation and getting him the deals to close for us. Um, so I'm really excited about this series, and I think this is going to be very helpful for all of us, and especially with today's topic, because we'll be setting the framework for people to add additional pieces to build their business for the year. And what I'm going to talk about is business planning and marketing planning. And basically, the purpose of this is to save us time, energy, um, save us and make us money, and save our stress as we go through the year. Everyone needs a plan, everyone needs goals, and it can be overwhelming, especially if you're not used to being a business owner. A lot of people come into real estate and they've had a job before, or they've joined with a broker, and they've kind of expected to be treated like an employee, and it's a huge shock for them. So I'm hoping that this will get everyone started off on a great foot this year for a wonderful 2022. Um, if you haven't been a realtor for long, or you just need to get things a little bit more organized, um, it's very important to know that you should have your own branded domain and email addresses. It's important for you to build your own brand and for people to know who you are and who they are working with, especially if in the future you do decide to switch brokerages or something happens. You can take your branding, your email, your domain names, and move on with your business. You also need a CPA, and it's one of the first things that you should do. You should have an initial meeting with them, and at the very least, meet with them quarterly. Um, you should set a budget. You should, go over your profit and loss statements, and talk to your CPA about meeting your financial goals. You also need to speak to them about setting money aside for taxes. What is the percentage you should set aside, and when do you need to make those payments? And they're probably going to tell you to make sure that you have a separate bank account that you do not touch, that you take a percentage of every closing and put it in there and don't touch it. You need to make sure that you have separate business accounts from your personal accounts. You need accounting software to put your expenses in, your commission checks in, and keep track of what's going on. And you need a mileage tracker. You also need business social media accounts. I know some people have personal accounts, but it works best in the future if you wish to do any type of ad that you use business social media accounts. That doesn't mean that you can't post business stuff to your personal account. It's just that you should have a basic business social media accounts. And being with EXP, we are very lucky that we have an awesome CRM and IDX website through KV Core. And I know that's one of the reasons why my husband and I came over to EXP was because of the tech packages. Another thing to think about is to have updated profile pictures. No prom pictures, no graduation pictures, and no club pictures. Business, professional pictures, maybe formal business pictures, as well as a mix of business casual profile pictures that you can use. And you also should have, your own branding guidelines and logo, and make sure that they meet EXP's marketing standards. Now, once you have that basic business format, the thing to do is to think about 2021 and to examine what happened in 2021. You're going to want to think about, maybe what were your top 5 achievements for the year? What were 5 difficulties, issues, or problems that you came into? What are some things that you learned about yourself and about your career? And then it's time to think about what your goals were last year. Did you meet your goals? Your personal goals, your business goals, and then to think about why or why not did you make those goals. Did you have any surprises, good, bad, or otherwise, that you weren't expecting to happen last year? And then when you think about this, write down what you're going to be keeping for 2022 and what you're going to be changing or improving for 2022. And then it comes down to examining your numbers. How many transactions did you close? And really get specific. How many buyers? How many listings? How many renters? How many express offers? What was your total closed dollar amount for the year? What was your gross commission? What was your net income after taxes and expenses? How much did it cost you to acquire your clients, each one? Averaged, of course. How much does it cost you to list a house? What does it cost for the photographs, the video? What does it cost to run an open house? What did it cost for flyers or other promotional materials? What did it cost for your ads? If you run ads. And what was your number one lead source last year? Was it sphere of influence? Was it referrals? Was it from Facebook? Was it from Instagram? And who was the number one person in your business that referred business to you? And also to look at what apps, programs, coaching are you not using or no longer fits your business. Maybe you have grown out of these things and cancel them. Renegotiate cell phone bills and other utilities. It's a good time of the year to take a look at that as well. Jim and I like to run lean and mean, and I have a bad case of shiny object syndrome. I like checking things out. I like trying things. And so it is real easy for us to add low cost apps. And some I use, some I don't. And they just sit there costing $4 to $5 a month, and they just add up. And think about your business in the next year so what did you use, and what you're getting rid of, and what do you need to meet those future needs. And then once you have this data and all this figured out for 2021, it's time to think and plan for 2022. And it's basically because I have more of a marketing and lead generation background, I personally really dive into the marketing plan. But there's still the rest of the business plan that has to be dealt with, and Jim deals with that a little bit more. So what we do is we have a mission statement and a description of our business and our company, and we go through it and we tweak it if it needs to be tweaked. We analyze our competitors, and it's not so much from a negative kind of place. It's more of to look at what they're doing and see what's working for them. Will it work for us? Is there a hole in what they're doing that we can take advantage of? So it's more of wanting to learn and see what we can take from their business and use and improve. You can check out their social media. You can even find their ads that they're running off of their Facebook page under transparency. And then kind of comes to the favorite part. And to me, that's the marketing plan and blueprint. I can go like super crazy detailed. And I even, at times after I go through all of this, I end up kind of drawing it out in lucid charts and tweaking it even further down to, it's this one, down to what each of our responsibilities are. And so we can really see what we want to do in our business. We discuss what is our value proposition, what do we offer the community, and what are we able to do better than some of our competitors around us. I go through and I update our brand standards, our logos, and our profile pictures. We go through our client avatars, and that's where we're very specific about who our clients are. We looked at who our clients were in 2021, and who do we want our clients to be to target in 2022. And I get very specific down to Jane Smith. She's 40 years old. She works full time, has 3 kids. Someone's in college. They're looking at now adding a second home, and I go on through there. And I have multiple avatars, and from these avatars, we work and decide on the niches that we are going to conquer and dominate. And then based upon these niches, we decide, are what are we going to do with our social media? What are we going to do with our paid ads? What are we going in our chat automations? What are we going to do with our organic social media? What are we going to do with videos? Are we going to have a specific open house strategy to meet this niche? Are we going to do EDDM cards to reach out and to be specific about this niche? And then we decide how we're going to warm up and convert each niche. What kind of phone calls and texts? What kind of drip campaigns? What kind of events or community service projects are we going to do? What kind of weekly video emails are we going to do? What kind of retargeting ads are we going to do? What kind of social media? And again, EDDM cards, because we love them, with QR codes. Everything gets tags, QR codes, and so we can pull and segment and separate the data and really dive into converting these individual niches. And then we go through and we update our buyer consult presentation, and not only how to close those buyers, but how to take them through the process of buying a home. And we happen to have that hooked up to a pipeline that assigns tasks and emails and other information that gets sent. We do the same thing with our listing presentation to make sure that it's up to date, and what is the system to get that from listing to close. We also decide on our customer retention. What are we going to do to keep our customers? How are we going to keep them updated on things that are going on community events, about real estate information? And what kind of thank you programs are we going to have, or thank you events for our past clients? And once we figure out exactly what we're going to do, and we've had it drawn out on our lovely little Lucid chart, we then go and decide, what tools do I need? Do I need to update my tech? Do I need to automate something? Does Jim need notification of something where he didn't need it in the past? Then we also figure out what the costs are. What's our sign situation? What signs have to be pulled out of rotation? What do we need? How many new signs do we need? Do we need new signs because we're going to have a burst of business? We also go through our business cards. What's the situation with the business cards? Do we need new designs? Do we need new door hangers? Do we need new flyers? And then we also, after coming up with the cost of all these things, as we sit down and think about, well, how are we going to defray some of our marketing costs? I am a big fan of co-marketing. So we co-market with mortgage brokers and with title companies. And a lot of times they are very generous and will pay up to 50% as long as they are included in it. We also, have discussed doing a preferred vendor program for attorneys and inspection companies, pest control companies, contractors. And for a fee, they can co-market with us and we share leads. And then, in the past, we've considered selling like buyer's reports or seller's reports for a small fee on Facebook for like $5 to $7. It's something we've never done, but it's something that we talk about every year. And then we go on to like a section of our plan is about our people requirements, our HR requirements. How are we going to accomplish this with the people we have? Do we need to bring a VA in to help with some graphics or setting some backup stuff done? Do we need more buyer's agents so Jim can concentrate more on taking care of the listings? Exactly how is our organization set up? Who reports to who? And then specifically, who's in charge of what? Down to who hires the photographer and makes those arrangements. I mean, really just what everyone has to do and what their job is. It solves a lot of problems before there are problems. And then we turn around and we set our sales goals of what we're going to do based upon what we did last year and what we want to do this year. We also set, agent attraction goals as well. Then we set financial goals of what we want to earn this year. Do we want to jump to a higher price point? Last year, we jumped to a higher price point. And so this year, we're going to continue doing that as well. And so we set a budget on all of these goals. We know based upon how many transactions we're planning on doing, what the average commission is for those transactions. And we also know how the year typically runs. So we know, we probably will be getting a bit more money in June and probably a bit more money in December, the way that things work. So we then account for our marketing expenses. We account for our utilities, our cell phones, and other business expenses. We account for our vehicle expenses. And we also account for, do we need coverage for showing houses or some other emergency situations? And so that gets accounted for as well. And then we also talk about, personal goals. You need to have personal goals. You can't let the business burn you out. And we work weird schedules, and we work weekends when people don't typically work weekends. So you need to make sure that you take off time during the week. You need to have family time. You need to have date nights. And you need to do something to grow as a person. For example, my husband and I, we sail, and he is an expert, and he races, and I swear the wind talks to him. Completely, wind doesn't talk to me. So last year, one of my goals was to be on the helm of this 34-foot sailboat while we're heeling, and that means tipping over, which is quite natural for a sailboat to do, but not necessarily a human like myself. So I conquered that, and I feel a lot more comfortable. And I love it. It's amazing. This year, one of my personal goals is to take some art lessons, to take some painting lessons. It's something I've always admired, and I want to learn how to do for myself. And then, of course, mindset goals as well. How many books are you going to read? How many self-care books are you read? How many business books are you going to read? Are you going to do audio books? Maybe. Do you have some affirmations that you want to put on your bulletin board or on your laptop? So you can just think and concentrate on that when things are going crazy. So we do that. And then we also get down to the business, how many buyers transactions, how many listings, how many rentals, and how many express offer transactions we're going to do. What is our total dollar amount goal for the year? What is our net income goal? And what is our expected client acquisition cost? And we break all these goals down to quarterly, monthly, weekly, and daily. I've found that if I break it down to the point of daily, it's just a matter of going through a task list. And the goals seem to, I don't want to say that they complete themselves, but it's just a part of the to-do list. It's part of the everyday, and it just gets done. And then it comes to, once you've got your personal goals and your business goals, I happen to have a dry erase board where I draw out all the houses for the year that we plan on closing. So as we close them, I cross them off. I also have a vision board that includes a new travel camper that we want, and a new catamaran boat. And so these are the things that keep me on track in my office. And the motivation is, everything's in writing. I see it all. And so I can't run away from it because it's there in black and white. We make a vision board again with our boats and RV. And, we're talking about maybe getting an investment property this year. Well, not maybe, but getting a property this year. And we make small rewards to larger rewards based upon the goals that have been accomplished. I use a planner. I'm a little old-fashioned. I use a paper planner. Yes, everything is in Google. I have Google calendars for consulting, for what my social media posts are going to be, for what my ads are going to be, and it all comes into one calendar. But I have a paper planner that in the beginning of the day, I will write down again everything that I'm going to do, including the number of glasses of water I'm going to drink, what's for dinner, and what I'm thankful for. And then at night, I go ahead and as the day goes through, I've crossed off everything that I have accomplished, and I circle everything that has to be carried over to the next day. The other thing I do is time blocking, and we have a Google Calendar that blocks out family time and family events, down to blocking out what dinners we are going to eat together. And so, again, nothing kills a business or damages a family like burnout. Not only do you stress yourself out and you burn yourself out and you pull your hair out, your aura, your vibe, your behavior does that to the rest of your family and to the rest of your business. And you actually push people away from you. And you never want to push your family away from you, and you never want to push clients away. So it's very important to not burn out and to find a way to choose to be happy and to make all of this work. Now, once all of this is done and written out, you just have to go back monthly, reconcile make a date with your money and with your partner, if you're a team, reconcile your bank accounts. Again, go over what apps, programs, coaching don't fit the business and we don't need anymore, or do we need to add something? Make sure that all your utilities are, the best rates that you can pay. Can you further consolidate your tech stack? Is there something you need to add, something you're not using anymore that's obsolete? And then once a month, you should also have a date or a meeting with your lead generation. What sources are working and what sources are not working, why or why not? Going over everything last year, we discovered in September or so, our conversion numbers were off, and it was to the fact that we weren't doing enough video. So we've implemented doing more video. Are there any unseen or unplanned opportunities that you have come across? And how do we exploit these opportunities? Is there a change to the economy or to mortgage rates or to inflation or something that you need to tweak your marketing messages and the information that you need to give to your buyers and sellers? And how is your co-marketing going? Can it be improved? And check in with the people that you co-market with. And then also, have a meeting with your goals. Are you meeting your goals? Are you not meeting your goals? Why? Why not? And, again, surprises. Are there roadblocks to what's going on? What are the solutions? And again, what opportunities are you currently seeing that you did not see when you put your plan together? Doing this for the first time takes some time and effort, but once you put these plans together, it's just going back and tweaking monthly. Again, don't forget, at least quarterly, talk to your CPA, show them what's going on with what you're closing, in case anything happens to need to be tweaked with your taxes or something else. And talk to him before any major purchase or anything. But the key is to set this plan in place and then just come back and look at it again every month, and you'll be surprised on how easy it is, how many new opportunities that you find, and you'll be surprised about what you've learned that you may not have thought that you would learn. So if you can, have fun with this, be yourself. You've got to make this work for you. Always help others and always choose to find happiness in what you're doing. So does anyone have any questions?
Well, if anybody does, put them in the comments. But there was so much good stuff there. I'm quite amazed. That was just gold. And so, I'm not kidding when I say, I have probably 10 pages of notes. So, we could spend all day digging in deeper on a lot of this. So I would encourage anybody watching. This is real deal. I couldn't really describe a better process to get prepared for a new year, and this is the time to do it. So I would watch this again. I would reach out to Noel if anybody had any questions. You saw her email pop up. But a couple things I did want to expand on. I tried to circle some of the highlights as you were going through it. But cost to acquire a customer is something that I think gets overlooked. Some people, that may be the first time they've ever heard that before. And so I was hoping maybe you could break down what that means, especially for somebody who might have multiple lead sources, and how they determine what their cost to acquire a customer is, and why that is important when trying to plan, for instance, their ad spend budget and that sort of thing.
Sure. And we do it for every lead source. For example, I run listing ads with chat automations. So I know that for me to right now acquire that phone number and email address costs me about $1.76. And that's with a $15 a day ad spend. I know that out of 100 people, we are probably going to get 2 clients right away. So you figure out what your total ad spend is, you figure out, and then divide it by how many clients that you've pulled out of there. And you could even go back and you'll pull more gold out of that list later on. So let's say I spent $75 and I pulled 2 people out of there right away. Basically, in our head, in our math, we have spent $37.50 for those 2 clients. Now we know in the future that'll go down, but we like to use larger numbers. We're a little more conservative about things, so we make sure that we have enough to get the leads that we need to close our deals. Now, sphere of influence and referrals, that's probably less money because that's the cost of a phone call or a thank you gift, or we do holiday pie or Christmas candle thank you gifts. So whatever that would be, that typically is what a sphere of influence would cost. And so we take the total cost of our thank you campaigns and then divide it by the number of referrals and sphere of influence people that we came up with. And so we figure that out. So it's pretty simple, but not many people think about that. But that helps you come up with a budget for what you're going to spend on your ads and what you're going to spend on your community events and your thank you gifts.
Yeah, it's key. Simple calculation, overlooked, and even if you know how to get to the output of the calculation, even fewer know how that relates to their actual business. I mean, so many people, in my experience, they're spending a few $100s on ad spend, and they have never done the calculation to see if that's even, enough to get the results that they want, or, they're expecting a high conversion, and they haven't gone through the math to see that, if average conversion is 2% and they're only generating X amount, but they're expecting to get 4 or 5 deals from a source. And if you just do the math, even at industry average, it doesn't work out to getting that business. You've got to make different decisions instead of just throwing money at a source. So to me, that's the most important thing.
And the other thing is, I mean, we could have a whole nother conversation about farming a database. They take those 2 that they got, they close those deals, and they don't do anything with the rest of the gold that they have.
Mm-hmm. So do you use your chat bots for follow-up too? I'm just curious.
Our goal is to get them on the phone with my husband as soon as possible. Once he's on the phone with them, they're caught.
Yeah.
He's like magic. And he's just himself. He's friendly. He helps. He's not pushy. And so he's just able to build these relationships. I tend to remarket. So what happens is, like, say my listing, my people that came up from the listing ads, I'll take those people and then set up a Facebook custom audience. And then I will send what I call is my dream home ad. And it's a chat automation where they get to choose what they would like in their dream home. And these are typically people that we were not able to get by text or phone and already set up in KV Core with a custom search. So we go back and we've hit them again a second time. We've created a little more brand awareness and awareness of who we are. And we've provided them with a service of setting them up on a search of what they're looking for.
So one of the other things that you mentioned was your number one referrer. So I love how you broke down, in what I would call like the analysis part of that step, like 7. So you're looking at your number one lead source, you're looking at your number one referrer. And I'm curious if you're aware enough to think about who your number one referrer is, that you're probably doing something to recognize or thank that person. And so I'm just curious, what are some things you've done to recognize those people that are bringing you the most business?
We take them out on sunset cruises.
Oh, that's cool. On your sailboat.
On our sailboat.
Well, that's a write-off for the new catamaran, isn't it? I mean, we can.
And it's something no one else can do.
Yeah, no, that's unique.
I mean, it's an awesome experience. You get to learn more about people, and it's just fun. I mean, it's and so that's what we do. Sometimes we've invited people out to a concert out on the beach. It doesn't necessarily have to be expensive, but just people appreciate fun experiences, maybe more than flowers being sent or cookies or fruit baskets or whatever. And you build that relationship more. And your number one referrer may not be someone that you've done business with. So I mean, it's very interesting.
Yeah, I love that sunset cruise. I gotta do something to get on the invite list for the sunset cruise. I gotta send
it's not hard. It's come to New Jersey and give us a call. And as long as it's between April and November, you're set.
Oh, I'll take you up on it. So you talked about people co-marketing. So that's a huge opportunity, huge opportunity, I think, for a lot of people who haven't had that discussion with some of the people that they do business with, like the mortgage lenders and the title companies that you mentioned. And I think people are probably intimidated about that conversation. They think it's going to go like in some crazy direction, just like, making a call on a lead. That some crazy thing that you formulate in your head that's going to happen, making a call to a lead, which, has never happened in reality. So like you said, a lot of partners are probably open to the idea and willing to contribute up to 50%. So how do you approach that conversation? What's the best tips for somebody to initiate that?
Well, I've got to say, Jim and I get approached by mortgage brokers several times a day. I can't count the emails and stuff that I get. And being that I am from New Jersey, I'm like, what are you going to do for me? I know what I'm going to do for you. What are you going to do for me? Because I know what I can deliver to you for leads. And why should you get those leads for free? So it's a matter of, I ask them if they're willing to co-market, and I've never been told no. So it's really not a hard conversation to have. And we request that they split the cost of the ads, and that they make phone calls, and they need to make more than one phone call. And it's their job to help convert.
And so you have to have a difficult discussion saying, "Hey, you guys aren't carrying your weight when it comes to those phone calls or the conversion efforts?"
I have. Those aren't
Yeah,
fun.
yeah.
But you know, for example, I did this awesome listing ad for a house with an indoor pool, cool house. And in a month, no, actually in 3 weeks, we had 500 leads. I got to say that the mortgage broker did not bring us, out of those 500 people that were pretty qualified, not one mortgage or one lead. And I'm sitting here like, how could this be? I mean, this isn't making sense because, you know, Jim's making phone calls and making connections, and he's referring them back to the mortgage guy. But we're not getting any leads or connections from that list from the mortgage guy.
Yeah, and we could do basic benchmark conversion rates and see there ought to be 6 to 10 people there at least, you know, something in that neighborhood.
Exactly. And then the other thing is, okay, so maybe they need credit repair or something. Do they have the ability to do credit repair? And how are they following up with these people? And you know, I want to know who they've connected with and what the plan is for that person. And I will follow up and ask, hey, what's going on with X, Y, and Z? How are things looking with their credit?
Do you have them leave notes and stuff inside your KV Core?
I don't have them do that, but they do send me information through a Google Sheet.
Got it.
So, yeah, nice. I'm sorry, but I'm just tired of giving business away. You know.
Yeah. No. Hey, no apologies there. I'm all for it. I think. You know, and the reality is it's valuing what you bring to the table. I mean, you're bringing a lot to the table for them if they choose to take advantage of the opportunity. So, you know, I think some people may just not realize the value that they're really bringing to the table, and they wouldn't have a problem having that conversation.
Yeah, because if you're not bringing them leads, they're having to run lead campaigns and add campaigns.
Yeah, right. And you know how difficult that is, and how few people are doing that. So,
and it's tough for them to break through because there are so many mortgage companies doing the same exact thing.
So the avatars, I loved how you talked about, you know, diving deep there, and you had a name, you know, which that's, you know, what we go through is creating personas at that same detailed level. You talked about the niches and how, you know, once you determine your avatars, that feeds kind of the social media strategy with all of that. And you mentioned the EDM cards several times, right? And your face kind of lit up when you talked about it, just like it did right now. You're like Chip Burkle loves his send out cards. You know, you get the same, you have the same enthusiasm about those. So share a little bit about how you use those and why other people should probably be using them, it sounds like.
First of all, this is something that we do share with our mortgage partner. They print them. We pay 50% of the printing and the postage. They are co-branded. And at first I was like, okay, this is outdated. I'm not sure about this anymore. Well, we added QR codes for people to find out what their home value is. And that is what changed after COVID. Everyone started using QR codes for restaurants. So, you know, it's not a big deal for people now to use those QR codes. And it's not, and then they're wondering, okay, well, if this house is just listed or just sold, what is my house worth now? And so there's a lot of curious people, and it really upped the number of people that are responding to those cards. So we use them when we list a property, when we sell a property, and then we have specific farming areas. And so every listing and every closing, those areas get those cards. So it just builds our brand awareness and makes us the king of the area. And we use the big ones. The big ones, not the little ones. Big ones, bright colors, big QR codes.
postcardmania.com. Is that what, I don't know. Is that where do you get yours from? What's the website people can go to?
Actually, our mortgage broker does them in-house with his marketing department.
Oh, that's perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, there you go. All right. Cool. Um, so there's so much gold here. Let's see if we can share one other thing. So I'm going to try to can't promise everybody, but I'm going to try to take these notes and put those in a Google Doc and share. And Noel, I'm sure if you have anything that you can share, you can drop it on the comments if you have a Google Drive link or something like that.
Yeah, I'll send you the Google Doc that I had made.
Love it.
Okay.
That's perfect. Let's see. Draw. Oh gosh, yeah. I think my favorite part is so I wish you had it because you could show, but I love the houses. So you draw. If my goal is to sell 100 homes in 2022 on that dry erase board, you're going to draw 100 little boxes with a little triangle roof, and I get to cross those off every time we get a close.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and then they get whether it's a listing buyer, and then they're also color coded to match up with Circle of Excellence.
Yeah. So what? I mean, what do you get out of it? What do you get out of doing that? I've done that before, and I know what I get out of it, and so I love that you're doing that because I can imagine just it becomes for me a game, and I don't care if it's $100,000 property or $1 million property, or I just want to cross the X. I just want to cross the X.
We want to cross the X, and it's also motivation to show us, yes, this is working, or no, better get my butt in gear. It works. It works both. It works both ways, and my husband made the mistake of telling me that if we attracted 8 people, that I could get another dog. So I have up on that dry erase board 8 dog prints to cross off.
8 dog prints and the catamaran.
Yeah. So you gotta have fun. You gotta have happiness. You gotta have joy, and being organized, and will bring you closer to that. So we do fun little things like that.
I think that's it's so important, and I love your date. Make a date with your money. Make a date with your leads. Make a date with your goals. I think that's a real good way to put it, because your money leaves you, your goals will disappear, and your leads will dry up for damn sure if you're not.
No, exactly. And sometimes there's something that you learn in January, and you didn't write it down or something, and by September you've forgotten about it, or whatever, by April. But if you sat there and you saw a roadblock and a solution and an opportunity, and you wrote it down, and you tweak things a little bit, that could be the difference of a good year or a bad year.
Yeah. And you want to be able to find out before the year's over with. And you want to be able to find out before the year's over with.
You don't want to be in October saying, holy crap.
Yeah. Well, I can't think of a better process to go through to get planning set for the year. So thank you for sharing, Noel. And we're going to share the docs so everybody can have the outline. And you've seen her email pop up several times. You can reach out to her. You can reach out to me. We'll make this video available for everybody, and we'll have some other people on sharing later this week. They're one thing. Thank you so much, Noel.
Thank you. And I hope everyone has a great 2022.
Yep. Either plan to fail or fail to plan. One of my favorite quotes.
Exactly.